Now, Sheela Nagigs. There are erotic stone carvings of a female figure usually found on Norman or Romanesque style churches. And this one in the video is one I managed to find at Elstonfields, about the only one I've actually seen. They often seem to be hidden in plain sight, on or in churches of Ireland, Britain, even France and Spain. Now, in case you're curious and wonder if there's any near you, the best way of finding out is visit the Sheela Nagig project. Their website has a list of most of them, and most of the information come from there. Now, these sculptures generally consist of an old woman squatting and pulling apart her lady bits. Very strange thing to find on a church. And often the carvings don't seem to be part of the original church. They seem to have been taken from possibly a previous older building. It's like on the church Stretton Sheela Nagig, the weathering on that, compare it to the surrounding brickwork, you can see what I mean. It looks older than the church. Now, their unapologetic sexual display is always grotesque, sometimes even comical, and has sparked intrigue, shame, but mostly anger. And the mid-19th century censorship laws led to the violent destruction of many of these sculptures. Now, who or what is a Sheela Nagig? The name Sheela is an Irish form of the Norman name Cecile, and gig, G-I-G, is actually English slang, and it means a woman's bits. Now, as you can imagine, much has been written and debated about these mysterious stone sculptures, and the figures are sometimes positioned above doors and windows as if it's to protect these openings. Now, the vulva can be considered as a gate between life and non-life. Therefore, these eerie figures may be intended to turn away harm from the holy structures. Now, this protective theory does seem to have some merit, but it doesn't explain all of the figures. You get some historians, they'll argue that Sheela Nagigs represent the pagan goddess, the divine hag, who is usually associated with the crone aspect of the goddess in the maiden, the mother and the crone triad. Now, this is a very common belief, but there's surprisingly little evidence to support it. But I imagine it may stem from the pompous view that how could anything this vulgar be Christian? A possible hangover from the Puritan values of the Victorians. Apparently the Victorians even framed them as products of exotic African sexuality, instead of treating them as a legacy of Anglo-Christians. A fertility goddess. That's another thought, due to their sexual nature. The obvious connection would be one of fertility. But as they seem to represent a crone or old woman, this may not fit. Another thought is that they serve a religious warning against the sins of flesh. But some figures are situated high on towers and are not visible from the ground. And some are even hidden to some extent. So if it was a warning against lust, why wouldn't it be displayed in a more visible location? But these carvings do seem to have a portable nature, which could result in reuse of sculptures and could have been moved to more visible places in the past in older churches. Now, Ireland has by a country mile the most Sheela Nagigs figures, but they are found all over Europe, so they're not purely Irish. Now, are there some kind of Mason's jokes like some later gargoyles were? It's doubtful, as they seem to be remarkably consistent in their style, so probably not. It's also been suggested that a female counterpart of the Green Man, Personally, I don't see that similarity at all. The green man has their nature connection. Then you've got the crude Sheela and the gigs. Don't fit at all. Now, there's a definite lack of written and verbal records about his Sheela and the gigs. Whether it's been destroyed, vanished, or even forbidden, indicates how misogynistic interpretations were drawn through a male view. Then, to contradict most of what I've just read and quoted, I found this at West Noyle Church from the late 12th century. It's a door in the tower on the corner directly opposite the main entrance to the churchyard. And it's a male Sheela and a gig. And a mere 3 miles distant from it, there's a second monstrous testicle-licking anus shower. There's also carving as a dog. This one licking its genitals. What's Christianity coming to? Now, I'd imagine the majority of the Sheela and the gigs are female, similar style and what have you. These two are probably just jokes, I'd imagine. But who knows?